It's 3 a.m. and you're staring at the ceiling. Your phone is face down. Your eyes are wide open. Your brain won't stop talking. You assume something is wrong with you. But the real answer is far stranger. For most of human history, waking up in the middle of the night wasn't a disorder. It was Tuesday. Your ancestors didn't sleep in one long block like you're told you're supposed to. They slept in two. A first sleep, then an hour or two of quiet wakefulness, then a second sleep. Historian Roger Eckert spent over 16 years digging through diaries, court records, and medical texts from pre-industrial Europe, and he found hundreds of casual references to this split pattern. People didn't write about it like it was strange. They wrote about it the way you write about lunch dot. So what did they do in that gap? They prayed. They talked to a spouse in the dark. They tended a dying fire. Some visited neighbors. Some had sex. Some just lay there, half awake, letting their thoughts drift somewhere between dreaming and waking. There was even a word for it in Old English texts, the watch. Your brain still remembers this rhythm. Even if your calendar DOESN single quotes T.sleep researcher Thomas Ware ran an experiment in the 1990s that accidentally proved it. He put a group of volunteers in a room with no artificial light for 14 hours a night, mimicking the long, dark nights of a pre-electric winter. Within weeks, without anyone telling them to, their sleep split in two. A few hours of rest, then close to an hour of calm, quiet wakefulness, then more rest. Nobody was trained to do this. Their bodies just remembered, which means the problem you have at 3 a.m. might not be a malfunction at all, It might be a memory. Here's where it gets stranger. Anthropologist Carol Worthman studies sleep across cultures that still live without electric light, communities in Africa and South America who sleep the way humans slept for nearly all of history. And what she found broke almost every assumption modern sleep science have been built on. These groups don't sleep in one tidy 8-hour block either. They wake up during the night constantly. They don't panic about it. They don't call it insomnia. They just consider it part of being asleep. Neuroscientist Jerome Siegel took this even further. He studied 3 modern hunter-gatherer and forager societies, the Hadza of Tanzania, the San of Namibia, and the Semaine of Bolivia, groups with no electricity, no clocks, no blue light at midnight. If humans were built for one solid block of unbroken sleep, these groups should show it clearly. They didn't. Their sleep was fragmented. Their total nightly sleep time was often shorter than the 8 hours modern doctors recommend. And yet none of these groups showed higher rates of insomnia. In fact, the word didn't really translate. There was no cultural concept for lying. Awake in the dark is a crisis. Let that sink in for a second. The condition you medicate isn't universal. It's modern. So what actually changed? 2 things, and they arrived together like a 1-2 punch to your circadian rhythm. The first was artificial light. Before gas lamps and light bulbs, night was night. Truly dark. Your ancestors' eyes would adjust to almost nothing, and their brains released melatonin early, hours before you do now. Darkness wasn't empty time. It was biological permission to slow down. The second was the clock. Before mechanical timekeeping spread through Europe in the 1600s and 1700s, most people didn't sleep on a schedule. They slept on a rhythm dictated by the sun, the season, and their own body's signals. Once clocks entered daily life, sleep stopped being something the body decided. It became something the day demanded. 1 block, 8 hours. Lights out, lights on. A single uninterrupted shift. Because that's what fit neatly into a workday. Your body never got the memo that this was supposed to be normal, which is why when you wake up at 3 a.m. and your mind starts spinning with worry, dread, or a strange kind of clarity, you're not broken. You're doing something your ancestors did every single night for tens of thousands of years. You just lost the cultural script that used to go with it. They had rituals for that hour. You have anxiety about it. They called it the watch. You call it insomnia. Same biology. Completely different meaning. There's something almost poetic in that gap. For your ancestors, waking in the night wasn't feared. It was expected, a quiet hour tucked between two sleeps, sometimes used for prayer, sometimes for conversation, sometimes for nothing at all except lying still and letting the fire burn low. Nobody told them to fix it. Nobody sold them a pill for it. It was simply the shape night took. You, on the other hand, wake up in that same gap and immediately reach for your phone. The blue light tells your brain it's daytime. Your cortisol creeps up. You start problem-solving things that have no solutions at 3 a.m. What used to be a peaceful in-between has become, for millions of people, the loneliest and most anxious hour of the day. But here's the twist worth sitting with. The wakefulness itself was never the problem. It's exactly what your biology expects. The difference is what you do inside it. Your ancestors filled that hour with connection, ritual, and stillness. You fill it with scrolling, spiraling, and self-judgment. The gap between one sleep and the next didn't disappear. Only the meaning you gave it did. So the next time you wake up at 3 a.m. and your brain won't stop talking, try this instead of panicking. Don't reach for the phone. Don't check the time and do the anxious math of how many hours are left. Just lie there in the dark the way humans did for most of history. Let your thoughts drift. Let the quiet exist without trying to fix it. You're not failing at sleep. You're remembering. How to do it. It's 3 a.m. and you're staring at the ceiling. And for the first time, maybe that's exactly where you're supposed to be.